Now, this is some really encouraging news about the positive cases on the Carnival Vista. And finally, things are actually getting easier when it comes to the protocols and testing on cruise ships. I'm going to tell you more about it in the video coming up ahead. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Now, if you've been following the cruise news lately, you might have been worrying about, well, is the Delta variant going to affect your cruise plans? Are you going to be canceling? Are you going to be waiting to book? Is your cruise going to be canceled? All of those are really legitimate questions. And when we all saw the headline in the last week about 27 cases on board the Carnival Vista, it's normal that a lot of people got very, very worried. There were a lot of sensationalistic headlines about it, which makes sense because it did seem like a really big number. But I'm going to get into the details about really, I think, the good and encouraging news that's actually come out of this. Now, at the same time, I have some other things that I wanted to talk about with you in this video, and that is the protocols, what they really look like going forward, just very briefly, because we do have some updates from some cruise lines, and I think there is some good news in this. And we're going to talk about testing. Testing is getting easier. This is good. And if you're following what is happening in Canada, I have an update on that too. And even if you're coming into Canada on a cruise ship, this is important information. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, or enjoyable in any way, then please do give the video a big thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And of course, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Okay, let's get started. So before we get into the details of the Carnival Vista and the outcome of that situation, I thought it'd be interesting to look at a survey done recently by Cruise Critic. And basically what they did is they asked almost 3,000 readers. You might have filled out the survey yourself. I actually did. And they asked people if the Delta variant was a concern and, well, how that is affecting your cruise plans. Are you thinking of canceling your cruise? Have you already canceled your cruise? Are you holding off booking? Basically, all of that information. And I think it's so timely given the situation with the Carnival Vista. Now, I'm going to tell you the survey results, but I'd like to know after we talk about the Vista and the outcome of that situation, if your thoughts on this have changed one way or the other, if it makes you feel more confident in cruising or less confident in cruising right now. So here are some of the results. When asked about the safety of cruising, nearly 59% of respondents said that the protocols that are in place make cruising one of the safest forms of travel. More than 60% of respondents said that they're comfortable right now with testing before their cruise and the masking policy. In terms of the Delta variant, about 31% said they're going to wait until cases are lower, and 35% said they're kind of taking a wait, watch, and see approach. And despite the situation, people are planning and booking cruises. 54% said that they're actually comfortable cruising right now, and 38% want to see how things go over the next few weeks. Now, those are just some of the survey results, so I will leave the full article in the description below. But I'd love to know from you how you feel about it, and if after we talk about the Carnival Vista, if your mind changes in any way. Okay, so let's talk about some of the really important details about the Carnival Vista and why this is probably some encouraging news for cruising going forward, including your future cruises. So firstly, the facts. There were a total of 27 people on board the Carnival Vista that were diagnosed with COVID-19. 26 of them were crew members and one person was a passenger. Now, this information was released by the Belize Tourism Board and was widely reported. Now, to our knowledge, all of these people were vaccinated and they were either asymptomatic or they had very mild symptoms. So when we first heard the rumors, this definitely seemed like some bad news, but I'm glad we now know a little bit more. So firstly, protocols were followed on board, and all of the people that were diagnosed have been isolated. They did contact tracing. Nobody else was found to have COVID. And in terms of the passengers getting off in Belize, and I think this is a lot of our concerns, right? If we go on a cruise and there's a lot of people that might be diagnosed, does it mean that our ship is going to be quarantined? Does it mean we won't be able to get off into ports? And the good thing is that people were actually able to get off in Belize. Now, what happened, according to the Belize Tourism Board, is they actually met virtually with the Carnival Vista leadership, and they were really comfortable with the way everything was handled. The protocols were followed as well. The CDC and Carnival have been cooperating, and the CDC has investigated, and the ship is currently under observation, and the CDC is satisfied, as is the Minister of Health and Wellness in Belize. Now, they carried out an inspection of the protocols and found that measures were in place and were meticulous and highly effective. Now, I did also read that before guests were able to disembark in Belize, that everybody was tested and everybody's results came back negative. And Belize does have protocols that passengers are able to disembark as long as there's less than 2% of cases on board the cruise ship, which this qualified for. Now, even though on the Carnival Vista, there were definitely more cases than on other cruise ships, this is not the first time that we've seen COVID cases on cruise ships, despite the vaccinated passengers, despite the protocols. And I'd love to know what you think. Does this make you feel more or less safe on cruise ships? Now, personally, I actually feel safer going on a cruise ship, and I'm kind of happy that they're testing out all of these things and I can see how these protocols are working. Okay, so now let's talk about updated protocols and pre-cruise testing. Now, while every cruise line can be different, one thing that I'm liking right now is there seems to be across the board more unity in what is required to board cruise ships. And I say that this is better for people just because it's a little less confusing. Now, you should still go on your own cruise line website and your own booking and obviously verify the information. If you're not sure about anything, don't watch a YouTube video. Please go to your own cruise line website and even give them a call. Even if it takes time, definitely make sure that you do that. Now, in terms of the testing, almost every cruise line, even if they're asking for vaccinated passengers, they are asking for pre-cruise testing. Now, it can be a PCR test or it can be an antigen test. Now, I know there was a lot of confusion over this, and even a little more than a week ago, people were saying, oh my gosh, it's at, the guest's own expense. But something we're seeing now is it's actually getting easier. Many pharmacies are actually offering the service free of charge with those with insurance. So take a look at the links for CVS, for Walgreens, and for Rite Aid. You might find some other locations within your area that also offer this service. Now, some cruise lines are accepting the self-test or the home test results as long as it's done with a telehealth professional. And basically, this is a way to verify through video or audio remote that, well, somebody has verified this information. Now, a quick update on the protocols on Princess Cruises. They've extended their protocols up until the end of October, and they are going to continue to sail with all guests being fully vaccinated. As well, the embarkation testing procedures are going to be in place. And they do also have a masking policy now where guests are going to be strongly encouraged to wear masks when indoors. And they will have to wear masks in certain closer areas, including elevators when they're walking into the dining room and certain entertainment areas on the cruise ship. Now, I know for some of us, we don't like the idea of wearing masks on cruises, but personally, I just think right now that it's safer. Please let me know if you agree, if you disagree. Let's just be nice about it in the comments below. Now, moving on to very important information for Canadians and anyone planning to travel to Canada. The Transport Minister has just announced that anybody traveling to Canada in the future by plane, by train, or by cruise ship will have to be vaccinated. So that's important information to know if you plan on doing an Alaskan cruise perhaps next year or a cruise to Canada, New England. This very likely could affect you. And for all of my Canadian friends that are mixed up in this mixed up vaccine debacle, well, the Canadian government has said that they are moving ahead with a secure vaccine certification that will be able to be used for international travel. So no details yet on when that is coming out, but at least we have a little bit more information. So I hope that you enjoyed this cruise news, and please let me know if you'd like to see more or even less of cruise news in the coming weeks. And I am planning to do a live next week, and cruise news is actually something that we can talk about a little more freely in a live. So please let me know if that is something interesting to you. So if you did enjoy this video, don't forget to please give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And of course, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'd love to have you here within the Lifewell Cruise community. Thanks for watching. Happy cruising.